dangerous too.
So yeah, cast into a zone of, if I put them on, I can't see anything, and if I take them off, I can't see anything. So here I am. All right. I'd like to call to order the Village of Middleville Village Council meeting for July 22nd, 2025. Rhonda, could I please have roll call?
Kevin Smith,
Here.
Robert Bishop, Tracy Gillespie,
Here.
Richard Hamilton,
Here.
John Osterbahn,
Here.
Mackenzie Peters, Ann Williams,
I'd like to make a motion to not excuse Miss Peters because she's walking in right now. I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Bishop and Miss Williams.
Second.
We have a motion with support. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
We have a motion with support to approve the agenda. Rhonda, do we need to make any adjustments if Catherine isn't going to be here?
no, because she's just, no,
All right.
she's not really business. We just won't do that.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, with that, we have a motion with support to approve the agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
We have a motion with support to approve the consent agenda, approval of minutes for the regular meeting of July 8th, 2025, and approval of bills as of July 17th, 2025 for $333,630.63. Rhonda, may I please have roll call?
Tracy Gillespie,
Aye.
Richard Hamilton, John Osterbahn,
Aye.
Mackenzie Peters,
Aye.
Kevin Smith,
Aye. Motion carries. We have public comment, limited 3 minutes. Once you approach the mic, please give us your name and address.
Hello, my name is Andrew Beck and I live in Misty Ridge. Today I'm here to talk about allowing side-by-sides to drive within the village limits. This is something we've been working on for around 3 years. Over 50 businesses have signed this petition in support. After speaking with the village lawyer, who had said that this would be no liability on the village's behalf, I was part of an ad hoc committee that the village tasked in addressing and answering concerning questions surrounding side-by-sides. We also heard from Sergeant Ware, who had no major concerns, and per the village's request to track complaints, and nothing substantial was found. Also during this time frame, the village hosted public hearings with a majority of the people in support of side-by-sides. Mr. Powers then wrote out an ordinance that would fit the changes from the ad hoc committee. Tonight, what I am asking is that the village would finish what we have started, to honor and support the time and the efforts and the finances of all involved in making a decision to adopt the proposed ordinance written by Mr. Powers, allowing side-by-sides to drive and park within the village limits. Thank you. I believe you have this digitally, but if you don't, I do have copies of the signatures. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, moving on to reserve time. Brandon, Williams and Works. Come on down.
Good evening. Nice to see you all. A lot of similar things on this month's report from last month. The Ballhunty Trail Bridges, the Tapadena Trust Fund grants are still submitted and still under review. We addressed some comments back in May. We met with the DNR last month, and they seem very enamored with the project. They think it'd be an excellent fit, so we're very optimistic about that. Since the last report, ASTI Environmental performed the necessary mussel survey, clam mussels, whatever you want to call it. They did find one. I could forward anyone the report. So under one bridge, they found nothing. Under the northernmost bridge, I believe it was, they found one mussel, but it does not look like there's going to need to be any expensive relocation. It does not appear to be a prime mussel habitat. So hopefully we will have that chapter of this project behind us. We have submitted the Part 31 permit in MI Enviro. So that is the environmental permit for the work, near the Thornapple River and the Mill Pond. So that'll get that process going. And I keep promising plans. I saw them on the CAD computer today, and he was in the process of forming the plot sheets. So I will email a PDF set in a size that's small enough, but big, and you can still see it'll probably be 11 by 17s, or even if they're 24 by 36 or 2 by 32, you'll be able to look through them and see the plans. And I'll bring some hard copies down too to see where we are with the plans. So we're very close. We had to make some adjustments to the abutments and some things like that too, but we're going to get those out this week for owner review.
Nice.
So one thing about the trust fund grant, another client of mine, we're still waiting for the agreement because the DNR's allocation for the trust fund is held up with the budget impasse, I guess you could say, in Lansing right now. So we hope that doesn't happen next year if we are successful, and that they'll release those funds. But we're looking for 2027 construction, so that'll work too. All right. Main Street parking over by Farrell's there, we submitted a plan to Doug a few weeks ago. With High Street, B&L has placed the last of the sidewalks, so that's all done. So David Mikovich from our office is putting together the final MDOT paperwork for the Category B report, or money was provided for that. So we owe them a report, which we'll get to them. The High Street retaining wall there, I still see it's dug up there where they inadvertently hit the gas. They will be repaired. That gas will be repaired. I believe it's going to be repaired by consumers or a contractor of theirs, and then they will charge Gatorburg, is my understanding. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but as soon as I know, I will let Craig know.
Is that impacting anybody?
I don't believe it's impacting anybody. There's cones around it. I mean, it's unsightly to have everything else done and have that little section by the side of the building there
But
open,
nobody's,
but
without gas or?
I don't believe so. Yeah, I don't believe so. So Irving Road Phase 1, Georgetown construction is almost completed with the underground. They might have a few water services to do. I just drove up and down, and it's it's looking like a mess, quite frankly, but a controlled mess. And you can see where they've been replacing water services and things, and they'll quickly move to building the road and the sidewalks after that. So, and I will update Craig with the actual completion date we're projecting to have that work completed. Railroad Street is in the design phase. Irving Road Phase 2 is also in the design phase, but I think we're nearly done with that design. So that's going to be going out to bid here pretty soon. The Irving Road tank inspection, I still have not seen the report. We know there's a pipe that runs under that. We bought a camera at Williams Works that we're going to be able to push up that pipe and see what that looks like. Line it or do whatever we need, see where the valve is on that. That's like the bottom tank drain, which to anyone's knowledge has never been used. So we want to make sure it's not a problem and that we either plug it or line it, or if it looks good, then we won't need to do anything with it, but we'll inspect that too. Over at Mid Villa, the water main's all ready to go, so they can hook it up as they get building. Well, once they have all the permits in place and all that, but from that standpoint, utility work is looking good. Over at the wastewater treatment plant, Aqua Aerobics has stepped up. They're providing the replacement fine aerator membranes, and they're going to put those on too, which is quite the labor-intensive undertaking. They've acknowledged the design flaw in their system, so they're going to get that taken care of. I'll make sure George is happy, so he should be happy.
Good.
And then, we're here to provide, support for the DDA and anything else you might need.
Excellent.
So any questions about anything?
Well, on at a High Street, you're talking about, what about that part next to the building that's not filled in? What's the deal?
Well, that's where there was that utility that
Oh, okay.
I think needs some more work there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the power consumers is gonna have to address it themselves or have their own folks or have a contractor do it.
Okay.
I have a folksy question.
Sure.
Are freshwater rivers known for mussels?
They are, and this is a relatively new requirement from MDOT, I think spurned on perhaps by Eagle, but we did a bridge over the Looking Glass River and they actually found thousands of mussels.
Wow.
And it was it was like 15,000 just to do the investigation. And this was a 170-foot long bridge over the Looking Glass River. And then we had to pay the project developer, the owner had to pay nearly $30,000 for a relocation
Oh,
of these mussels.
they couldn't be packed up and distributed to restaurants near there?
Maybe that'd be something. This is the craziest thing, if you ask my opinion. I heard the bottom of Lake Michigan is just covered with mussels. So not
Oh,
even
wow.
zebra mussels, but a different type of mussel. So I don't know, but it's just, but even the, the research here, just the investigation was $5,000. And that's part of your match or your local share. It goes into the professional services. We wish, I never thought in a million years they'd have to do that.
Yeah, what I understand is a lot of this problem is brought on by people who are in the business of getting weeds removed from lakes, and they're transporting these mussels from lake to lake to lake to lake. So it's happened in Cobb Lake. That's where my son lives,
Okay, yeah.
and they never had them until that guy came with his apparatus to de-weed the lake.
Oh,
He brought them in from on the bottom of his.
equipment.
Right. I mean, our intent was always to tread lightly, on the milk, the mill pond and the river there. So, but we're gonna have to, pull up some old wooden pilings and things like that. But we'll have the silt fences or the silt sacks, and we'll protect the best we can. And after a little minor disturbance while we build, put concrete abutments and things like that, and we'll get it restored and it'll come back in short
Does
order.
that $5,000 cover the moving of the one mussel, do you think?
Well, I don't know what they did with it. They took a picture of it, put it in the report, and I think they just let it go back. But
Hit him with a hammer.
Fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Some lemon and-
But we're jumping through the hoops, so
Yeah,
to keep this going on pace for 2027 construction.
that's great news. Awesome update. Thanks.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
Oh, you're
thank
welcome. Good to see you
Will
all.
do. Good to see you. Ms. Getty is not going to be here today, so we can move on to the next item, which is petitions and communications, which if you read your packet, there is permit for Heritage Day.
There's no one here to represent Heritage Day. I told them I could take care of that because they were taken off the agenda. There's no reason for everybody to wait for a 7 o'clock meeting.
Sure.
So basically, it's the same thing as you always see. It is only the downtown events. This does not include the parade. That will be a separate permit.
I'll get that to you eventually.
I knew you would. So yeah, that'll be a separate permit. This is just the downtown events. And yeah, pretty much same as normal,
Mr.
status
President,
quo.
I make a motion to approve this event application.
Support.
Excellent. Well, we have a motion with support to approve the Middleville DDA application for Heritage Day, starting at September 13th at 8 a.m. and ending around 5-ish, would be my guess. I guess we could just, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. If I may back up just a slight bit. I guess we don't really have a lot of details about food trucks and things like that, but I'm assuming that those details will follow
So
We don't, uh,
In terms of location and,
as
that will kind of just be something that they do through or through DPW, helping them figure out where that goes. Because it's a DDA event, we don't do a peddler's permit for that. You guys do a resolution at the beginning of the
Resolution.
year that exempts all of that.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that as it gets closer to time, they'll organize the details with who's ever at DPW.
fair enough. All right, very good. Moving on to council and staff reports, Mr. Stolzenberg is not here,
His report is in there though.
but his report is in here.
Yeah.
And I do want to highlight the joint meetings that we are about to embark upon. So Planning Commission, Village Council joint meeting on July 29th at 7 PM. Making mention of the Bradford White Tour. I know it's going to be fine. I'll get dinner in a minute. Whew, it's so loud. Tuesday, July 22nd at 7 PM. And then Bradford White Tour, which if you've not toured Bradford White, I highly recommend making that Thursday, July 31st at 9:30 a.m. to 1. They treat us to a great lunch and discussion and talk about future plans. I'm making every effort to be there for that tour because it's fascinating to go through that building.
I think he does have that list set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Is it?
everybody who is going to go is on the
It's on-
list.
all right,
Yes.
Very good. I might have to add my.
So, check with
Pennsylvania.
him. Between him and Tanya,
Yep.
they know what's going on.
And then Village Council and the Township, we have another joint meeting. I believe Thornapple Township Emergency Service at the firehouse. So that's Tuesday, September 16th. Then a TAPRC joint meeting, which will be held September 22nd. All those are important, and obviously we have to just participation in these outreaches and just collective brainstorming and just open discussion, super valuable for us. And I just want to underscore how important those meetings are. So if we could make those, that would be great. Then staffing update, we did, I believe that we were going to be made an offer to a candidate initially who declined it, but then we have two other applicants. Brandon, you interviewed both on July 14th, and I believe that there is one solid candidate from the two of them that we may be making an offer to. So
That is
It's all done.
is it?
Yes. Yes, the new DPW director and the new deputy clerk will both start on August 4th.
Same. Okay. Well, that's great news.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my God.
So-
We're gonna just see her. That's fantastic. That's actually great
So-
news. So, well, Alec is going to be be tough shoes to fill, but I'm hopeful and I think we're setting him up for success by adding the admin assistant and so on. So that's good news. Then the educational opportunities, the online thing is so much better. I love it. Moving on to Glorimar, please. The ever riveting financial update.
Good evening, council members. In your packets, you have your second quarter report. I believe so far the village is doing pretty good with our revenues and expenditures. But even on this second quarter report, we cannot see actually all our revenues because our big amount of revenues is now that we're on tax season, yes. So that will be for our third quarter report that we're gonna be more revenues in our report, also expenditures. In that report, I mentioned that we didn't have received the final bill for the High Street project, but we got it. So it is part of also the bills that you approved tonight.
Okay.
Other than that, we're getting ready to start our fiscal year 2026. budget process, so in the, maybe not next month, but I believe that sometime in September, you're gonna see a first draft. If it's not September, it will be October. And then, yes, Mr. Stolzenberg will come out in front of you guys with a new proposition for adding a new employee for the DPW, which is something that is needed. If you have any other questions with my report, please.
Thank you. We're, as I understand it, we're 79% spent with 5 more months to go in the year.
In this quarter,
No, for the year.
in expenditures, 79%, that is really, it is common because our fiscal year starts in January, but our, I don't know how to explain this, but our revenues, our biggest revenue is taxes.
September, yeah.
And we don't send the bills until the 1st of July. So after July is when we actually start seeing more revenues, and that's gonna balance our revenues and expenditures.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's a good question though, but I think it reflects how healthy
Yep.
we are.
Mhm. Yep.
In the sense
Yep.
that we are not big spenders.
Yeah.
and
We have essentially 6 months that we have to cover with what we have from the last revenues from last year to cover all those expenses and, what we budget for. And then after July is when we're gonna start seeing more revenues for the village, because throughout the months, we see stuff for local and mayor, which is at 51.
The very last page was really a milestone for June, which really still looks, we're still, in a lot of those funds, we're still either at par with last year, and we
Mhm.
still have yet to, we still have a lot of revenue to collect. from
Yep.
this. So we're really, Yep. It's a very encouraging
Yeah.
Yeah,
mean,
we need
report.
to,
I've
Yeah.
been here 3 years and I ask the question every
every
year.
time,
Just
and
for
as you
public-
should,
For
as you
public
should.
consumption.
Yeah.
We don't get scared until third quarter.
I wish we can change our fiscal year to begin in July, ending in June, because that way we're not gonna see this kind of huge expenditures since from January to June. But I asked that question and they told me no.
Yeah, well, that's
So-
huge, yeah. Are there other municipalities that have their fiscal year around tax collection, or
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of municipalities that have
it seems like
that.
it'd be easier?
Yes, especially at the time of preparation for budget is easier.
Well, I guess next question would be, who told you no? Because I don't know, it feels like it, yeah, or blink twice if you're safe. But it seems to me like if it makes better sense from a
Right.
bookkeeping perspective, I don't know why that wouldn't be the
Yeah,
case.
because-
Then you wouldn't have to ask that question.
You
every
wouldn't be doing a lot of juggling.
And explaining that even though we may look like we're behind schedule, we're really not.
But
Right.
even with our 79% of expenditures up until June 30, we are still on the budget.
Yeah.
We haven't have to make any big adjustments yet to our budget, so we're still in good shape.
Yeah, no, we really are. Even our auditor said that. Every year he comes and he says that we're healthy, so I
Yep.
love that. That makes me happy.
I like your reports. They're very clean and easy to follow. so
Oh,
it's-
thank you. I always try my best.
So much better. So
yeah.
much better. They have improved amazing. Thank you for that. And
You're
all the work you
welcome.
put into that. Anything that you would like to cover additionally?
No, I think good.
Any questions, anyone?
Thank you.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Have a good night.
You too.
You too.
Okay, liaison reports.
So the library ad hoc committee is meeting tomorrow. We had to move it because last week was Fair Week and it was big hectic for everyone. So we'll be meeting tomorrow at 6:30 in the conference room. Primary focus of tomorrow's meeting is just to compile our facts and timelines. So when we go to our workshop meeting with the township to discuss our project and how we got here and why we're here and how we'd like to move forward, we're all on the same page on the information and try to make it less of a cloud of information and more of a timeline of information so it's easy to consume. So I think that's the goal for tomorrow. And then the TAPRC, we're trucking along really well with our survey collection with Williams and Works. I don't know how many people have taken our online survey yet, but last I knew it was a bit over 100 people. It must be more than that now.
I'm not sure I've been
Yeah.
planning on that, but maybe it's fine.
Yeah, oh yeah, yep. And then we received quite a bit of participation at our 2 pop-up events so far, and we'll be back down at the Riverbank Series on the 1st of August to do another one for 90s night. So looking forward to that. And then as a member of the DDA committee, not as an official liaison, I can tell you for Heritage Days that we'll be getting a parade permit in sometime this week or before next week, Tuesday. So you'll see that coming up on your plates. And yeah, I think that's it.
You said that meeting's in the conference room here.
Yeah, 6:30.
And just as a continuation, we talked about Wi-Fi installation and we talked a little bit about the board retreat. And then basically growing the farmers market. I think that we all agreed that when there's more vendors, there's more people. So there's going to be a marked effort to continue to grow that. Couple of interesting points about the chamber. I'm going to tread lightly here, but there was a few ribbon cutting for businesses in the area that the chamber didn't support. Really, didn't show up, make it, and didn't help coordinate it. So I think to pivot back over to the DDA and just make it more of a local thing and have us put the effort in instead of having to rely on external people. I think that would be better anyway. But a little disappointing.
Well,
But they're busy too. So
Well, as a booster, a chamber booster, I can tell you it's not always the chamber. They can reach out to the business owners and try to get something set up, but if they don't want,
these
they
people
want it.
spoke
Oh,
directly
did they?
to the fact that they were thinking that they were going to plan it. So.
oh, I see, okay.
Yeah. So, but either way, I think it's important that new businesses in our community get recognized and have the opportunity to be celebrated. So that might be a little bit more appropriate if it's in our plate 100% of the time instead of relying on other people. I think that makes it better. And that's it. And then we are looking forward to September 13th and being in a dunk tank.
That
Uh-huh.
would be fun.
Start loosening up.
Planning Commission, the only thing is to follow up on the ordinance for signs. And of course, I reported that out to you, Mr. President, and you're referring that, I believe, to the lawyer in terms of, do we totally rewrite or do we just modify the section on feather signs and banners, whatnot?
That's
And
good. That's good.
I've had no information, contact from the DDA on the depot committee, what to do with the depot.
Right.
Now that we have a depot. So I'm patiently waiting. That's all. Thank you.
Just to amend the sign thing, I think I don't want them, and I can't imagine any of us wanting that to, because some of them are eyesores if they're out in
Yeah.
front for 9 months at a time, but
Right.
it's also appropriate if there's a new business or you want to celebrate a new business in town and they want to make sure that they draw attention. Sometimes that might be appropriate to allow certain types of signs. So I think that's a good thing. Any other liaison reports?
Nothing new, nothing great.
All right, moving on. We have no new business. And in the packet, there's boards and commissions, draft minutes for the DDA meeting of July 1st, draft minutes for the Planning Commission meeting of July 1st, informational items, the DDA revenue and expenditure report as of 6/25/25. Ms. Newman chose not to be publicly recognized by the housing,
I made sure she had her certificate, don't
Good.
worry.
which is a big deal.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of time.
Yeah.
Which brings us to public comment. Anyone have any public comment?
Can I make a comment?
Of course you can.
When Lomar mentioned Act 51, that reminded me, also tied up in Lansing right now is a huge, tremendous road funding package. So I guess they're fighting over how, or will it be new revenue or triggering of revenue, but there's potentially an extra $3 billion a year annually. $2 billion would go to the traditional Act 51, which of course would benefit Middleville. And then also there's $1 billion of that $3 billion that would be from a driveway to the highway. So that would be given to generally smaller municipalities.
Wow.
Like the Village of Middleville. So if there's anything, if anyone's done anything, or the village has reached out to MML or even to the state, your state senator or state rep, a bill has passed the House. Last I heard, a bill had not yet passed the Senate. It might, it's probably gonna end up in a conference or even the governor's office if there's anyone. I would urge, Middleville to support, to somehow, to get to that revenue. Currently, between federal money and state money, there's about $5.5 billion a year being spent in Michigan on roads. So an extra $3 billion is like 60% increase. I mean, it's a tremendous.
It's huge.
But you're looking to lock in a stable, on an ongoing basis with adjustments for inflation too. So that would be tremendous.
Yeah. Great about that. Thank you for that. All right, well, that lends us to final council comment. Mr. Hamilton.
Do we plan to, I thought, going back to Andrew's question,
Mhm.
I thought we
We did.
approved it.
We did.
That's what I thought.
No, we didn't approve that. We went back to,
We
We-
erased, we took
yeah,
it off
we
of
s-
the
yes.
village, or it's no longer a
Correct.
village ordinance. So what
Correct.
we did was clear the guns on
Mhm.
Yeah,
our participation in
yeah.
that. That's a state of Michigan problem
The
now.
state law
We-
now.
Yeah.
Didn't we adopt the county ordinance?
Yeah,
We adopted
which
it,
is,
huh?
which is mandated by the state.
yeah, we basically said we're not going to have our own. We're
Right.
going to do
Right.
it. Yes.
Yep.
That's what
So
we did.
in many
Yes.
ways, it was a win
Yeah.
for
we pulled,
ORVs because
yeah, we pulled our ordinance.
we pulled our ordinance out.
Mhm.
It's no longer a thing.
Yeah.
But we can talk about that offline as well, just to give you an understanding of what that means. But we definitely passed the resolution to remove it from our ordinances for sure. So we don't have a dog in the hunt anymore. Thank you, Mr. Hamilton, for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
I have a procedure question or comment is, I don't know if everybody saw who responds to the emails that's been on there about the traffic cam, because they're waiting with traffic cameras and where the money came from.
Craig and I do.
Okay. So they're just waiting, or I guess.
It's like, it's not, the, anybody, you can one-on-one engage with people that send us emails like that at any time you want, provided that you're not
Accurate.
erroneously
Yeah.
reporting facts. So,
Yeah.
and typically when you get spirited emails like that, you have to be cautious about how you respond to folks like that. I mean, they were quoting the Declaration of Independence, which has nothing to do with what he is actually trying to say about our Constitution. The Declaration of Independence is a very different document. It's got very exceptional language in it, but it is not our
It
Constitution.
put us at war with Britain.
Yes.
After
Right.
that,
It
we
was an
had
intentional-
Constitution.
Yeah, it was a letter with intent.
1889.
Right. The Constitution's very different, and it says very different things about it. And I don't disagree that, and I think that the message should be this: those cameras are an extension of our law enforcement agency that we rely on to protect us from criminals. We get our license plates taken, the pictures are taken of our license plates every day. If you're on a tollway, that's how you pay your toll. If you are driving through Meyer, your license plate is being captured on a camera. I mean, it's impossible to escape.
And your face.
And your face. And I would say it's very important for us to understand the differentiation between a surveillance state and a law enforcement capability. And we could opt to hire additional law enforcement folks who will then lay eyes on those license plates themselves, or we can augment our law enforcement and say, I want to make sure that you have body armor. I want to make sure you have body cams. I want to make sure that you have ammo and weapons and training on how to use all of that, and ensure that you are the most equipped law enforcement agents that we could possibly have in our community. Part of that means that in today's day and age, we have technology that works to their advantage. And we've already assisted other law enforcement agencies by giving them access to the information that's in that system for stolen cars and for other criminals that have driven through Middleville. They've driven through. I would prefer that law enforcement knows when criminals are driving through Middleville.
And coming from Kentwood or somewhere else this
Right.
way, heading for Battle Creek.
And we've
like-
assisted. And
I'd like
we've
to point out
assisted.
that it's two
Yep.
ways too. We've
Of course.
also received
Right.
assistance from other places using the same cameras.
That's right.
So-
And the state, and we've assisted the state of Michigan, state of Michigan police to further their investigations. So it's important to recognize the benefits to our community. We want a safe community, and we want people, and it's certainly within my charter to ensure that we're protecting our residents. And I felt very compelled when we went to Lowell and had wonderful conversation with their department, their law enforcement department. And there was nothing but positive things to say about it. So I think it's well within their right to be upset.
Mhm.
I think it's also well within our right to respond and tread carefully and be respectful and empathetic about their position. But again, it's tough to respond to a very long letter that quotes the Declaration of Independence rather than our Constitution. So just being transparent about that.
I think the one thing I was more concerned about, not the cams, was the issue where he thought we got the money from and how we got that. And to me, that was because I know it didn't happen, but to see that on paper that they think that we stole it from the sewer.
No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I mean,
Right.
at least we respond
Yeah.
to that, I guess.
The best thing you can do is this: if you feel compelled to answer that email, stick to the facts of what you know, and don't share what you don't. I don't know if you were here during that flock proposal, and
No.
then so I lose track of time sometimes. But just stick to what you know and defer if they have any questions. Defer them to Kevin or to Craig, who will give them all this, because it's all been recorded on YouTube. It's been recorded on our meeting minutes on how we got to that point, where the funds came from. It's thoroughly documented and available for public access to read and dig through if they want to. Or if they want the short answer, they can go to Craig and Kevin. You know, but it's very transparent on where it all came from. There's no stealing of any kind of funds. And my advice to you, just stick to what you know and then defer the rest to Craig.
Coupled with that,
Yeah.
always say thank you for your, your
Always.
concerns.
Yep.
And I appreciate feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. And
Right.
sometimes it's emotionally charged, sometimes it's not. But I think the best course is, and again, I have a lot of discourse with Mr. Stolzenberg. I ask Rhonda a lot of questions too. It's important that we just pull on the resources that we have and respond accordingly and ensure that we're empathetic and
I would-
respectful.
I would say, I mean, to me, if I was in your chair, I wouldn't answer those. That was something that we did learn when Kim and I went to Institute. A lot of municipalities are basically have policies in place that none of their council members are to answer anything. Everything is deferred to staff. We don't have that policy in place currently. I can't say that we won't sometime. But the reason that a lot of them are doing that is then you all will not get stuck in a back and forth,
Right.
and you all do not have to remember being the key, all the pieces and parts that went together, and get yourself stuck in something that you can't necessarily defend because you're doing it off your memory. So I'm not telling you can't do it, but I'm just saying I wouldn't if I was in your spot, because
The same goes
that's
with
one of the
social media
reasons.
too. It's social
Exactly.
media too. It's
Exactly.
hard to track.
We do not.
It's hard to track.
We don't engage on social media
Yeah.
hardly at all, because it does become a back and forth,
I
So-
always tell people, I'm a people person and I like talking to people, and I'll always have an open door
Yep.
policy for a hard conversation. Again, just stick to what you know for sure, defer the rest.
Yep.
And always point them to the resources that are available to them to look up on their own,
Mhm.
which we know by heart by now. And
The other thing is not staying up with something like this. Criminal can have technology that outflanks law enforcement nowadays. All kinds of monitoring devices.
I think any tool that we give our law enforcement people, and I'll go on record every day saying this, any tool we can give our law enforcement agency to protect the residents of Middleville, all day, 100%.
I had a chance to speak with the sheriff's deputies down at the fair the couple nights that I was there, and I asked them how the flat system was going. They're like, you can't believe how efficient it is, especially when we're down officers in the county and everything else. They themselves have to, there's still that barrier in place where only so many people have access to it at a time just to prevent abuse. So they can't just willy-nilly go in there either. So,
Right.
for the sake of privacy and stuff, there are barriers to prevent abuse of the system. So,
Which was, to that point, what delayed it from being activated sooner, because they needed to come up with a policy that made sense from an access, like who has access to the system. And it got pared down pretty quickly. So there's only a very few people that have access to it. And there's accountability when they are accessing it. So it was a good process. And certainly something that's of value to our community, at least at this stage. So until someone proves otherwise, I think we've made our community safer as a result of having them, for sure.
We also had the discussion with the flock cameras prior to purchasing them about the lawsuits that they were involved in. That has come up twice, people asking me about that. So we talked with them about that specifically prior to investing in the cameras.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yep.
So there's safeguards on their end as well, not just our end. So that was part of what we were looking at.
And those lawsuits are complicated.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about having cameras taking pictures of license plate. That was a rabbit. I read
malicious actors.
those. I read the briefs on those, and they're very complicated.
Yeah.
Something that it extends beyond just it extends beyond the function of the camera.
Yeah.
Um,
Bad actors will always be bad actors, and you can't get rid of them. You just have to deal with them as they come up. So
And that was procedural, right?
Yeah.
It was the procedure of how they're being accessed and what, you can't weaponize a system. I mean, it's all about good faith and the people that have access to it are using it the right way. So, yeah, for sure. Ms. Hutchins, do you have anything to say? Mr. Bishop, thanks for showing up.
We have had some setbacks at work, so this might be slightly more often. But currently, we've had a couple of injuries and some health issues. So that was the reason I was late today. But I am working on planning around it. It's just that we're a little tight at work at the moment. So
It's all fair. Please.
At the fair, I want to shout out Eric Schaefer, because I think he was there all day, every day. Every single day for all the slots. So he is certainly dedicated to community outreach and making sure that there's a representative at the booth the whole time, whether it's either one of us or meaning an elected official representing all three, or just him at least. So I think a lot of kudos go out to those that participated in the fair last week. Also, we should consider, because he brought a wheel.
The wheel,
The wheel that you could.
I still hear it in my head.
Listen, being at the fair, now this is the third year I think I've participated. You know, it's hard to get people to want to come and talk to an elected official when you've got fair stuff happening. So maybe instead of just laying out all of our stuff next year and say, hey, come talk to us if you want, maybe we should take the approach that the township took to this year and provide some kind of game or activity that people can get engaged in, fun stuff we can pass out. But no one wants to sit there and receive literature on,
John brought Plinko.
right.
Which I do have
Brilliant.
access to in the
Right.
future, it's just
I don't disagree with that,
comment
by the way.
was that
Yeah.
Wasn't,
Good idea.
they had stuff that the kids.
Wanted,
Okay,
yeah.
You kind of, they won something, well, you want
Right.
a piece of paper or?
Right, you want a
something.
QR code?
If we're gonna do that again,
Yeah.
maybe work on
No, I want a candy bar.
kind of some stuff.
Right, so something to think about for next year, and then that's all the comments I had.
And we've said that every year, by the way.
Yeah.
And we really need to like intentionally upgrade our presence there because it's the same Berry County map. Actually, we have less stuff this year than we've ever had. But to the point of the game, I'm still hearing it click. But it was great to hang out with Eric.
Yeah.
And just be able to interact with the public was fun. It's good times. I have nothing. So with that, I believe a motion is in order.
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
We have a motion with support. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
All right.
I enjoyed the fair a lot.
Yeah. My dad had comments.